Aquarius workshop, have patience with yourself. I start with a quote from Pathwork lecture 116 with the title Reaching the Spiritual Center. And the quote is as follows. Question yourself first, not as to the actual nature of your lower self or what you consider as such, but rather begin by looking at your attitude towards its existence. Are you shocked about certain of its manifestations? Are you impatient with yourself because of it? Do you feel it should already be gone, thus rejecting your state of being a human being? End of quote from Pathwork lecture 116. An emotionally mature person can be very active outwardly and patient inwardly, while an emotionally immature person can be completely passive outwardly but impatient inwardly. If we allow ourselves to be guided by the impatient inner child who wants everything immediately and cannot wait, then we aim for results that we sabotage precisely through this attitude of pressure, tension, and anxious concerns. The child is impatient due to the misconception that it must be perfect in order to experience fulfillment and happiness. It refuses to accept the consequences of its human imperfection and to treat every unpleasant consequence as a healthy medicine. Because of these misconceptions, the child becomes more and more impatient with each shortcoming that it discovers and cannot yet let go of, because it lacks a deeper understanding. Only when we sincerely want to change will we develop patience in all humility. Patience is an inner state of true, relaxed feelings such as self-knowledge of limitations and possibilities, self-confidence and self-acceptance. If we are patient, then we know when we should let happen and when we should act. In this workshop you will explore patience with a loving curiosity through 3 themes from the Pathwork lectures. The first theme: realize that change is slow. Patience, humility, inner relaxations, and a willingness to persevere are essential to the change process. We must understand that we cannot change emotions quickly because we are so used to the wrong automatic reflexes. The growth process is accompanied by discouraging setbacks, but we can use any setback for further growth. After a long struggle and patiently waiting with confidence, we will naturally experience a spontaneous new reaction that we have started without knowing it. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 38. Your own subconscious wrong conclusions are directly responsible for the tests you are experiencing at any given time. And in order to be able to do that, you cannot be impatient with yourself, for it is utterly impossible to find, to comprehend, and to dissolve this image in a short time. It is a long drawn-out process. and even after you have understood it, the re-education of emotional currents and reactions that have long been conditioned in one direction takes time, effort, and patience. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 38. The second theme, attune to the inner will. The inner child blocks the inner will because it is confused and unsure of its desires. That confusion creates doubt. Doubt creates guilt and impatience. Impatience creates fear and tension. Inwardly, we doubt our outer wishes because we doubt whether we deserve the result of those wishes. The more we hinder the inner will by such misconceptions, the more we try to compensate with the strength of the outer will. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 64. The outer will is tense, impatient, and cramped. The inner will is calm, relaxed, unhurried. The outer will is anxious and doubtful. The inner will is certain, knowing neither anxiety nor doubt. Impatience arises out of doubt as to the desired result. Upon examination, we find that impatience cannot exist where there is certainty. Because of uncertainty or doubt as to results, one cannot afford to wait with calmness. Hence, impatience, doubt and anxiety are closely linked. Since the inner will knows no doubt, it can bide its time and will ultimately prevail. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 64. The third and last theme, letting it be. With what we unconsciously think, feel, and believe, we determine the creative process that consists of activating the masculine element and allowing the feminine element to letting it be. If what we create is constructive, then both elements work together in unity, but with destructive creations, duality and disharmony arise. Activation is a purposeful effort to activate the creative forces whereby we ourselves determine what will happen. Letting it be is an inner movement of waiting patiently and being receptive that goes beyond the will. The last quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 169. The consciousness of the attitude of letting it be is one of patience, of trustful waiting, of letting a ripening process come to fruition, one of surrender to a force set in motion. This may be called the feminine principle in creation. The masculine and feminine principles exist in every endeavor, in every creative act. The self-determining, voluntary act expresses self-confidence and knowing of one's divine nature. The going with the creative forces, the trustful surrender to them, expresses deep trust in life, in the state of being that does not require one iota more movement than to activate the very powers one trusts in. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 169. More information you will find on my website. I wish you peace and all the best. Thank you.